Four here in this best of 7. Hopping into the game here, let's not forget Innovation is currently leading 1-0 at the moment. Now, before we do introductions, guys, again, big shout out to the people who made today happen. Combination Total Biscuit got this all kicked off. I had been asking and wanting, but nobody had donated, but Total Biscuit was the first one to say, let's get a Starbow Showmatch going. Following up shortly after, we had a couple of new subs. We decided to put the money towards getting some extra matches, and last but not least, of course, Loaded Commerce filled in the rest for everybody to get more matches, more Starbow. Again, we initially only had the ability to make about 1 match for today, but with their help, we were able to put more. So Loaded Commerce, guys, give them a check out. We got the bot constantly linking their website in chat, loadedcommerce.com/BTV. Click that link and at least check out the website. The quick too long didn't read because we're in game version is it's a website dedicated to helping make online stores, online shops. You know, go around the hassle of eBay, whatever the case may be. Check them out. But without further ado, spawning here in the top right corner of Fighting Spirit, the blue Terran player, Innovation.
The bottom right, as the red Terran, it is Axiom's Ryung.
So we saw some of the dynamics of mech versus mech, and I say dynamics kind of in air quotes, because in some regards we saw some mistakes. You pointed out Innovation siege stack not quite being done in time, whether it was on purpose or an accident, regardless whatever the case may be, Ryung was able to push that back. But one big mechanic displayed was the power of economy. I mean, Ryung started falling behind, despite taking really good army trades, because he just didn't have that third base, he didn't have that fourth base, he wasn't able to keep up with Innovation on that same level.
Yeah. It just seems like, you know, the engagements went okay for Ryung, but it was never enough to like make up for the fact that his third was later and his fourth was later and all of that. Yeah. Plus, Innovation always threatened him with those drops. 1 or 2 did, in fact, you know, do damage. And it, again, goes back to just Innovation seems to... It's not even like he's playing exactly like he would in Brood War. It's not like he's playing, you know, oh, this is totally old for me. No, he's doing new stuff. Like, he's playing to the game, I feel. And it's just, it seems like he knows it a lot more.
You know what we should talk about, actually? Just speaking of new stuff. So we talked a little about how the Marauder was removed, right? The Ghost was given some new abilities to kind of compensate. One of the big ones was the Shock ability, kind of similar to the Lockdown ability. It's not exactly the same, but it's basically, you know, your anti-mechanical unit buster. It doesn't kill anything, but does a lot of sort of crowd control capabilities. Combined with the fact that nukes, by the way, guys, were changed, that nukes take about 3 seconds to drop now. I'm not exaggerating. Like, it's usually like 3 or 4 seconds. So you call that a nuke, it's not the 10 seconds your opponent has to like move their army out of position. They have to react pretty much immediately. So again, while Marauders were removed, they were never really the armor buster that we're used to seeing in StarCraft 2 anyways. Because again, in Starbow, there's no armored or light units. It's all medium, large, and small. But yeah, there's definitely some bio changes that we're integrating into the game. Now we have Ryung's starting to move out with some Marines here. I don't know how well this will work, because Vultures are pretty good at dealing with Marines.
You know who would use that nuke thing? Boxer. Boxer would be so fun to watch in this game.
Dude, the nuke, oh my god, when we saw it in the Ladder Cup finals, it blew my mind. I was like, what is happening? Why did that nuke go up so fast? But this push out of Ryung, I think was meant to have a bunker built into it, but there's no way the bunker gets built up while that Vulture's there, sadly.
Yeah. If this was a tank, I don't think it'd even be out until right now, let's say, and then enough Marines and a Vulture, I think, would be able to take care of it.
His own Vulture comes across the map, though. Vulture for Vulture, Ryung's gonna be able to take this trade. He gets out with 1 Marine advantage, but that'll give him enough to fight this other Vulture about to pop out. Not 2, though, however.
Yeah, so there's another factory. So again, Innovation just getting kind of far ahead with the build order already. I mean, not far ahead, I shouldn't say that. He's getting... He's not dying. He's not losing anything because he did go for that double effect Vulture. He has been able to push back Ryung's early game attack. But now you have to worry about this Banshee. Now you can make Goliaths fairly easily. That's a problem, but we're about to see how good they are now.
Right, but let's not forget as well, Banshees, they have a cloak built into them, guys. The cloak mechanic works a little bit differently. There's no energy on a Banshee. Cloak only lasts for 6 seconds. These Vultures should be able to be dealt with. They might get an SCV kill or 2 here, but I don't imagine it's being too devastating for Ryung.
I don't think so.
No, it's a little bit of a nuisance. They're actually shooting the Marines instead of the workers. Get about 6 SCVs, though. Not too shabby for a player who's stuck on 1 base.
Yeah, and he gets the Scout.
Oh, he actually gets a Widow Miner or 2 down as well.
He gets to scout with the barracks, actually. That's what's funny about early game TVT is that your barracks oftentimes just is able to scout everything. Goes ahead and gets those Goliaths that we were talking about. He built an armory, which I have to assume that it was just like habit, because he also started the Goliaths like right before it was finished.
Oh, but
you actually need an armory.
Okay, so instead of taking like 5 shots to kill like an SCV, it is only 3. So the Banshee's a little bit better now.
Oh yeah, he actually canceled the armory, realizing that he didn't need it. Still, those Goliaths came out just a little bit later. Cloak does come into effect.
But again, it only lasts about 6 seconds, so you really have to dance around with this Banshee. But Ryung getting some pretty good kills here, evening up the amount of damage that Innovation did just a moment ago.
Yeah, this is nice damage. I mean, Innovation's down to 17 workers compared to just 20 the 21 of Ryung. The command centers are pretty much the same.
Well,
and
you can pick off the SCV.
Well, it's a good point. This could be really annoying.
The Banshee's control definitely seems a little bit better too here in Starbow. Because I know for a fact dealing with Banshees, dancing around with them in StarCraft, not the funnest. But as we see, Goliaths, they've got some pretty good damage, but not enough to exactly shut these down outright. There's no oops moment for a Banshee where you're like, okay, I wasn't paying attention for a second and now it's dead. But still, with 2 Goliaths, they'll eventually be able to hold this off. Regardless, though, Ryung's getting some really good damage with these Banshees now. This has gone from decent to good with 11 workers killed and delaying this command center for a significant amount of time.
At what point do you give up and just build an engineer bay for turrets?
Right? Like, it's just kind of that hard decision to make. But all right, so clean up the 1 Banshee. This other one's unfortunately not going to get a whole lot done. With scans being burnt, this is not like StarCraft 2. In StarCraft 2, you burn a scan, you're like, okay, well, my opponent's not muling behind this, but there's no mules in Starbow. So energy is pretty much specifically intended for scans.
Yeah. Oh, and he does scan. Oh, that was for the Wood of Mines. That was Ryung's scan.
Yeah.
And I mean, the trade-off here was that Innovation got the low ground CC already, but Ryung's CC really is not that far behind, and he's still up by 7 workers. Now, this is not a deficit that Innovation can't come back from, but it's already looking better for Ryung.
Still going to town with his Banshee, by the way. Again, that 6-second cloak is really hard to work around, but Goliath's range without the Charon rocket upgrade, boosters, whatever it's called, kind of low, so he can't really chase too far. But this is great for Ryung for one big primary reason. He's already put Innovation on the defense. Last game, it was Innovation being quick to those dropships, quick to be aggressive, and quick across the map. This time for Ryung, he's got a little bit more breathing room thanks to those Banshees, and they've certainly been cost-effective.
Yeah, certainly. They've done a lot. Very, very useful in that cloak thing.
If he had 3 Banshees alive, because he's already lost 1 and to take them home, can you imagine if he picked off Siege Tech? How big of a deal that would be if that went down?
That would be a time for Ryung to push out, but it's actually Innovation pushing out right now, looking to see if he can do anything. Again, that floating barracks is easy scouting.
Okay, so we still got 2 Banshees coming into this, though. Honestly, this Goliath can't really push too far forward. Combination Vultures and Siege Tanks will deal with them. Ryung can't throw away these Vultures, though. He needs every unit alive for this defense.
Yeah, well, those all went down. That was already a freebie for Innovation. But Ryung starting up the dropship much faster this time.
Right, so here's the thing. There's 2 Goliaths in the front lines, but 2 Cloaked Banshees can deal with this. Alternatively, he could go across the map with these once again.
Ooh, no.
Thinking his opponent's it's a bad siege position there for poor Innovation, as this tank will take out that 1 tank.
Yeah, not sure what that was about. He didn't see the other tanks, I don't know, but lost a big chunk right there. It's, once again down in supply, and in fact was not really SCVing back at home. He's only at 28 versus 40 of Ryung.
But those 2 Banshees did go across the map as predicted. They start going down on the SCVs once more. Sadly, takes 3 shots, not 2. Right? Yeah, like, build 1 turret at this point. Save all the SCVs. But you know what? 15 workers dead is not the end of the world for Innovation, but he is down his workers by a big amount. Now, in any other scenario, for regular StarCraft, you like, wow, 29 workers, you're screwed. But for the Starbow, this is actually fine. Ryung's actually, I would almost say, quote-unquote, oversaturated for 2 bases.
He should stop right now at 42. But he's, you know...
He's got 3 command strength, though, so he'll be able to transfer.
Eventually, yeah. So he stops right now, though. So he got to what he wanted. The Banshees finally died? No, only 1. Nope, they didn't even die. They're still all alive.
I wish he had kept that 3rd one from earlier, though. That would have been so... It would have been so incredibly impossible for Innovation to deal with the harass of 3, much less 2.
Unless you got into... I mean... Because you're not also, like, getting more damage because the Goliaths can't keep up and you need to keep burning scans. But also, you leave Goliath behind when you're attacking or defending, unless you get a missile turret. I think it's well worth Engineer Bay and the 100 middles for missile turrets. I don't know.
So awkward watching these two Goliaths chase down the barracks, but it does fall. Ryung may need to build a new one because he doesn't have a lot of production at home. For Starbow, I mean, you really need to have those extra factories up. Usually in StarCraft 2, you can't afford it, but Starbow, your economy is always going to be a little bit better. Looks like he's going to go for a big drop, though. Innovation actually doesn't quite see everything going on right now. Banshees are harassing the natural.
Oh, the Banshees!
Oh, they go back for more. Oh, this is going to really suck. Innovation's going to be forced to defend the main while this is going on, so the Goliaths won't be able to segment off to deal with the Banshees. He does actually pick them off, though, so I take that back.
Finally.
Damn it, Ryung! You're not supposed to lose those.
Oh, and you know what? That drop was not a kill move. I mean, that looks so strong. Oh, it's still doing so much damage. Innovation.
Actually, yeah.
You can't take that on. You do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he might have the high ground advantage, but those siege tanks were pre-sieged moving into this. So this ended up working quite well for Ryung. He's killed a total of 23 workers so far, and I know he can't go back to investing into it, but I almost wish he'd make some more Banshees. Because I feel like
so well every time, like
right?
The cloak is just insane. It's really what's been screwing Innovation over.
Well, Innovation kind of feeling the burn here, stuck on 2 bases himself, while Ryung takes the third, a complete role reversal of last game.
No, it's like they both changed like accounts and they're like trolling us.
Yeah. That'd actually be really cool if they did that. That's like the equivalent of like a barcode tournament for casters to deal with. Like, who's who? How can I confirm this? One game it's Hyun, next game is Snoot. Oh my god, how dirty would that be? Have a barcode tournament, but actually swap players out actively, like between games, to see if anyone notices. Oh my god, this is the best idea for a show match. All right.
Hidden expansion, a good idea by Innovation. You gotta get it back somehow. Maybe the way is, by getting a hidden base, and they think they're gonna have you contained, and then suddenly you bust out with.
Yeah, because look, he's scouting for the third that would normally be down, but that's not the case. He's also confirmed there's no third over here on the right side of the map.
It is still so bad looking for Innovation. Down by 40 supply.
Yeah.
Again, if you get a good trade, like the tanks run into a siege line, you can come back from this.
Exactly. That's the point I was going to say is the counter. Like, you can't... There's not exactly an easy way for Ryung to push forward, but, a lot of this beckons back to the lack of anti-air. Those dropships can unload on top of the siege tanks. Relatively effectively, too, I think.
Ryung is looking for a hidden base. He's going to find it eventually.
He's probably just going to start rallying around the map. For Innovation, though... It's going to be a loss to take, but it's, again, not something that will exactly devastate him straight up out of the game.
Well, luckily you can pick it up and, go take your regular third. The whole idea, though, is that by taking this hidden third, you can defend on that natural choke like he is and be perfectly safe. Like, no tanks are going to run into that unless they want to suicide. If he has to try and defend his third as well, he gets closer to Ryung, and, he just makes Banshees again, and suddenly you're screwed again, and it's just a lot harder to defend. And that's not what he wanted to do.
This dropship count is so big right now. This is these tanks are unsieging. There's a lot of them, granted, but I think with a with a perfect engagement, Ryung can break this. But that's the problem. It has to be a perfect engagement.
Innovation is posing. Like he's
poisoning. He's gonna poison his opponent.
Like he's gonna take this third, which is a good idea, and Ryung's in fact getting ready to counter it, but also doing a drop.
Yeah, he's set up for a big drop here at the natural base too. Did he ever scout that hidden base finally, by the way? No.
No, he's actually patrolling on the top left bases. That's it.
He's actually literally been to every base except for the one that Innovation took. But the Doom drop goes off right on top of the production. Innovation says, you know what, I cannot deal with this. A little too much. GG is called, and Ryung will tie up the series now 1-1.
He's thinking is, Banshees are terrible. He's probably gonna do is go for Banshees himself. Be like, that worked out great. Let me do that.